Round one from the Gibraltar Chess Festival. This game will qualify as a miniature. With the white pieces is GM Veselin Topalov. Uh, Topalov. Okay? Versus GM Paehtz. Now I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. It's a woman GM, but actually I can't even call her. Well, she is a female GM, but has the male GM title. So she's not a WGM, which has different qualifications. So she's a legitimate. Let me take that word legitimate out. I don't want to offend anybody, but she's a GM and went through the same process as the males did. And her last name is spelled Paehtz. So if anyone can help out in the proper pronunciation of that, I would appreciate it. I don't want to botch anybody's name. I try my best, but sometimes I do get them wrong. So GM Topalov had the white pieces, and D4, E6. E6 is very flexible because if E4, then black can play the French defense. And this is one of the ways Botvinnik used to go into the Dutch defense. Instead of playing F5 immediately, he would play E6 first. And then if you played E4, he would just play the French. And by playing E6 and then going into the Dutch that way, you avoid a lot of anti-Dutch systems with G4 and starting gambit and things like that. So if you do want to play the Dutch and avoid some headaches with some anti-Dutch systems, you can play E6, but you must be prepared to also play the French defense. Okay, so there it is, F5, Bishop F4, real simple. It's capitalizing on the weakness of E5. Look at all of the force on E5 already from white. Knight F6, E3, B6, Bishop E2, Bishop B7, and we can see in contrast all of the pressure that that black is exerting on E4. Castle, Bishop E7, and C4. Knight E4, Knight FD2. Why Knight FD2? Because white wants to kick the black knight out of E4 and begin to contest the control over the E4 square. So this knight moves out of the way to allow that. Black anticipates that and simply plays knight takes D2. This helps Topalov's development. So he plays knight takes D2. Perhaps better was queen takes C2. Right? I'm not sure how critical it is. Maybe queen takes C2 and then bringing the knight here to C3. But I'm sure knight takes is okay also. So black castles, and now bishop F3. Again, we're contesting this square here. E4, D5. So black clamps down on E4, but in the process gives up her E5 square to white. So this move is very committal, creating the weakness here. Another downside of this move, besides of course blocking the influence of this bishop and basically confining it to a defensive role, because now you have 3 pawns on the light squares, so you kind of ruin this bishop, is that after D5, this pawn has to be looked out for as it becomes kind of backwards here. So for instance, after say rook C1, right, which is completely natural, now white could be threatening to open up the C file. Okay? And now you have a double attack here on the c7. And c takes d5 is played, right? Clarifying the pawn structure. E takes d5. And now you see, look, bishop is wide open, pointing right at c7, hitting e5 along the way. And rook c1 is definitely coming up. There it is, c6. So c6 is played, but look, that's kind of weakening in itself, and now this bishop is made even worse. Topalov plays his queen over to a4. So just probing the weakness on the queen side here. And now black plays b5, which again, just I don't know why black did all of these weakening pawn moves in a row like that. This bishop is terrible, and this is good for white. White loves to provoke these kind of moves in this position. Black should be trying to operate on the king side. That's his general plan in these type of setups. This is like a stonewall setup now, except the e6 pawn is gone, which is good for black. It's like black has liquidated that pawn, right? So that's good for black, except that black didn't really liquidate it. It was just that white exchanged on d5. Now this pawn is a little bit suspect, but protected well enough, and black should be trying to go along with this queen side, king side ambitions, playing g5, even if it's takes sacrificing a pawn. And why do I mention the sacrifice of a pawn is because, after bishop takes b8, rook takes b8, there's an idea here, but then the rook would just swing back, probably. Actually, it can't swing back because the bishop would be on priest. So he would be sacrificing a pawn, but then exchange for activity, right? And now, hopefully you can see these ideas, putting the bishop here on d6, coming here with the queen, rook to f6. Not here now because, of course, the rook will be captured, but you can see the ideas. That's how black should be playing. Because black's play is primarily on the king side. It's white who wants to play on the queen side in this opening. This helps white. Queen b3, because now you have moves like a4 targeting the queen side. Now c5 has become weak. So you have ideas of knight here later, knight here, etc. Knight d7. And that's all she wrote. Why did Topalov make that move? Why did Topalov play bishop takes here? Again, we're dealing with an unprotected piece. So look at, so first he takes, right? This opens up the c file, and now the rook can go to c7. This bishop is attacked, and GM Paehtz resigned. There's no legitimate way to protect the piece, right? Yeah, this and this under scrutiny. For instance, if bishop takes c8, now this rook is unprotected. So queen takes d5 check, and then just picking up the rook. If bishop a6, now the knight is in trouble. Queen takes d5, king h8, and rook takes d7. Okay, and this is all possible because of the weakness of this pawn configuration and the unprotected piece in black's camp. Okay, this was just a bad game by black all around. And just hit with a strong tactical blow in 15 moves. Okay, so that was it. I hope you enjoyed that. This is a quickie, but a goodie. I'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Talk to you later.